Dark clouds loomed over the sky of London. Sirens wailed in the distance, bombs thundered down, and the ground trembled. Families huddled together in underground shelters. Children pressed their faces against their mothers in fear. Streets that once echoed with life were now empty, haunted by silence and shadows. These were the darkest nights of Britain's history. Yet in that darkness, a single voice became a beacon of hope, the voice of Winston Churchill. But this story does not begin in war. It begins on 30th November, 1874, in a noble household in Oxfordshire, England. A boy was born into an aristocratic family, destined to become one of the greatest leaders of the modern world. His name, Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, childhood and youth. Churchill's childhood was far from glorious. In school, he was considered weak, slow, and troublesome. His teachers often mocked him, saying,
"This boy will never achieve anything in life."
Winston often wrote letters to his mother, complaining of loneliness and neglect. Yet, inside his heart, a spark burned. He devoured books, especially tales of war and leaders of the past. He began to believe that words could move nations, that speeches could inspire armies. After finishing at the military academy, he joined the army, but his real weapon was not the rifle in his hands. It was the pen and the power of speech. As a young war correspondent, his reports carried such energy and life that people noticed him. Slowly, his path led him into politics. The struggles of politics. His political career was never smooth. Sometimes he rose to high office. Sometimes he fell into disgrace. At one point, he was thrown out of the political arena altogether. Critics laughed at him. "Churchill's time is over. He will never return." But Churchill, with his unbreakable will, declared,
"I do not accept defeat. A step backward is only a preparation for a stronger leap forward."
This resilience became his identity, the shadow of war. By 1940, Europe was burning. Germany had crushed Poland, Belgium, and Holland. France, too, had fallen. Now Hitler's eyes turned toward Britain. Panic spread in London. Some politicians whispered of surrender. But in this moment of despair, Winston Churchill was chosen as Prime Minister. Standing in the House of Commons, he delivered words that would echo through history. "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. But mark this, we shall fight, and we shall never surrender." These words were like lightning, charging the hearts of his people. The Knights of London. The war came with fury. German bombers roared across the skies and dropped fire upon London night after night. Buildings collapsed, flames devoured neighborhoods, and children screamed in terror. Families pressed together in the underground shelters, praying for dawn. And in that darkness, the radio crackled to life with Churchill's voice. "We shall fight in the air. We shall fight on the seas. We shall fight on the land. And we shall never surrender." His voice carried courage into the hearts of millions. One night, as bombs rained above, a little girl in a shelter whispered to her mother, "Mama, will we die?" The mother stroked her daughter's hair and replied softly, "No, my child. As long as Churchill's voice speaks on the radio, we are alive." His words were stronger than bullets, brighter than fire. His speeches became the soul of the nation, the turning point. Churchill knew that Britain could not win the war alone. He extended his hand to President Roosevelt of America and to Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union. It was a bold and dangerous alliance, but it changed the course of history. American soldiers, ships, and weapons began to arrive. For the first time, Germany faced true resistance. Slowly, the tide of war began to turn. Victory. In 1945, after years of sacrifice, the war ended. Germany was defeated. The streets of London, once filled with fear, now roared with joy. Children threw flowers, men and women sang and danced. Voices rose in unison. "We won! We won. Churchill stepped out onto a balcony to face the cheering crowd. Thousands of people looked up at him, their hero, their savior. They cried, "Long live Churchill." Churchill raised his hand, forming the famous V for victory. The crowd erupted, and the city celebrated like never before. Legacy Churchill's greatest achievement was not just the military victory. His true triumph was keeping his nation's spirit alive when all hope seemed lost. Later in life, he wrote volumes of history and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. But above all, he is remembered as the man whose voice kept a nation standing, whose courage held back the tide of tyranny. To this day, when people speak of leadership in times of crisis, the name of Winston Churchill shines as a symbol of resilience, courage, and victory.